Hello everyone! In this video we will be talking about Aether in the Final Fantasy universe. The goal is to give you the basic understanding of how it works for your future travels in Eorzea. I am making this video with both new and old players in mind, so there will be no spoilers or references to characters or lore events in this video, allowing anyone, anywhere in the story to enjoy it without worry. So Final Fantasy XIV does quite often refer to Aether, all the way from the first cinematic to the endgame. If you're here, you've probably asked the same question as I had, which is, what in the world is Aether, and why is everybody talking about it? Aether is in short both the magical and life energy of Final Fantasy XIV. We can both find the Aether on our planet and also in what is known as the Aether realm. When life is born or created, Aether travels from the Aether realm into the being. Like a child being born, it will obtain this Aether, and when a person dies, they return it, creating the cycle of etheric flow. This back and forth between the Aether realm and our realm is very important. There is a limit how much Aether can flow back to the etheric realm at a time. So if too much Aether is released at one time, for example in a battle or a disaster of some kind where a lot of lives are lost, the Aether tends to get stuck on our planet, which is not very good. When a being goes there, like a human or an animal, the excess Aether in the area will infuse them. So those unable to channel this new amount of Aether can actually turn mad or become very hostile. At times they would form into solid state, creating the Aether crystals where you can find all over Eorzea. If you travel around the realm of Eorzea, you will see a lot of Aether crystals in many forms, be they big or small. They can stick out of the ground, or in most major cities, you will find the Aetherite shard, which is what the people in Eorzea use to teleport from place to place. When we interact with an Aether crystal, we attune to it. When we wish to teleport there or teleport from one crystal to another, we for a moment leave behind our physical form. We simply join the Aether as we flow from one point to another. And when we reach our destination, our body is reformed, allowing us to travel both short and long distances. But Aether has practical uses. In fact, every magic using class in the game is using Aether. And while I don't plan to go into any of the stories of the classes, I'm gonna allow myself to explain a little bit about how the Conjurer work. So simple, a Conjurer is a mage who gathers up the Aether from the surrounding nature. They channel this energy, and that allows them to cast spells to harm or to heal. But we have the basic of what Aether is. It is a life force, but not all Aether is the same. In fact, Aether comes in 6 distinct varieties. They are lightning, fire, earth, ice, water, and wind, each element creating the next one in the cycle. The spark of lightning ignites when it strikes, and thus fire is born. The heat of fire renders to ash all that it touches, and thus earth is born. The density of earth shuns sun and harbor cold, and thus ice is born. The armor of ice melts away, and thus water is born. The moistness of water mists and rises, and thus wind is born. The gusts and sighs of wind gather the clouds, and thus lightning is born. It is an endless cycle controlled by the Aether. This is the basic of the elemental chart. From here the chart can be split down in a few different ways. First of all is the Astral and the Umbra planes. Astral simply means the element is active, it moves, it changes, while the Umbra means the element is stationary, or rather unchanging. All elements are said to be able to both be Astral and Umbra at points in their existence, but the elemental chart is split in the most common form we can find them. As you look at it, you can see the lightning at the top, furthest in the Astral side, and the ice at the bottom, furthest in the Umbra side. Think about these two elements. The ice doesn't really move much, does it? It's very still and unchanging, and lightning is quick, bright, and active. In the Astral side, we also have wind and fire, and in the Umbra we have water and earth. Now elements like fire, which is Astral, and the element water, which is Umbra, can easily become their opposites, of course. Think of fire. When it's in its astral plane, it is like a wildfire raging across the land, destroying, warm, and is dangerous. But when a fire enters its Umbra stage, it is a dry heat, like sitting in a car on a sunny, hot summer day. Water in turn is usually seen in the Umbra area. It is the ponds, the lake, the puddles. the water that sits still, but it can also turn astral with raging currents and tall waterfalls. So in short, think of Astral as activity and Umbra as stillness, and they are two sides of the same coin. No element is always going to be Astral, and no element is always going to be Umbra. Another way we can split the elements is how they combat one another. Imagine this cosmic elemental game of rock, paper, scissors. We split the elements into two triangles indicating each game. We have the one containing earth, lightning, and water, which works like this. Earth grounds lightning, water erodes earth, and lightning boils water. And in the other we have fire, ice, and winds, which works like this. Fire is extinguished by wind, ice is melted by fire, wind is obstructed by ice. So imagine you wish to work against the element of earth. We would want to use the power of water against it. In turn, if we want to work against lightning, we would want to use the power of earth. So let's look at what we have learned today. Aether is the power of life and magic. It originates from the etheric realm when we are born, and it is returned there as we die. If too much ether is released at the same time, it will bottleneck and get stuck in our realm, which can make our animals very angry and cause some beautiful crystals to form. We learned that ether is elementally based, and in short, is a one big game of rock, paper, scissors. Much of the main story of Final Fantasy XIV relies heavily upon the ether. I believe with this video, you've hopefully gained the basic understanding of ether so you can build upon it when you go deeper into the story. This video is just the basics, but hopefully enough for you to gain a starting understanding of how ether works and how it's all elementally connected. I do hope this video was helpful and that it taught you something. I'm a very small channel and I make these videos for fun. If you do like them, let me know via the comments or by maybe leaving a like. In the next video, we will explore the origins of the Science of the Seven Dawn, and the video after that we're gonna explore the battle at Gridania, which is referenced quite a bit through the original story. If you want to make sure to catch up on those videos, I highly recommend subscribing and pressing the notification bell. But no matter what you do, I hope you have a lovely day and have a wonderful adventure in Eorzea.